Welcome to Money Convos, where we discuss personal finance and investment tips. We're committed to helping people create wealth and achieve financial freedom. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Clubhouse, and Facebook, and subscribe to our YouTube and podcast. Alright then, let's head into today's conversation.
Bishop and Dennis, how be?
Charlie Kim, cool, yourself?
I did okay, I did alright.
You've landed safely.
Yes, I'm
Thank God.
You know,
Thank God.
there's this saying my mom used to say, or somebody used to say, Ejebu, I feel the Ejaba. The whole of last year saying, oh, Ghana, I'm going to Ghana, I'll go to Ghana, now I've gone to Ghana and I've come back.
Yeah, back.
So that was up.
Nice
I was
one.
left with graduation and then going to start life again.
You go be.
Yeah, amen. Charlie Dennis, how you doing?
I'm doing well, Elikem. How are you?
I'm good. How you guys coping? The AFCON, how far? What happened? How did the calculations go?
Charlie, Elikem, don't remind us of our woes.
Ow.
For me, I've moved on. In fact, it's not like I put my heart in it, but me, I've moved on already. So now, this toxic relationship with Black Stars there, no.
Charlie.
It ain't it.
But you see, in all things, I pray for Kudus.
Charlie, he's the one that it pains me about. But the thing pains me, like it's like my own junior brother that is going through this.
See, I hope Kudus grows and becomes way bigger than Abidi Pele.
Seriously.
I hope Kudus grows and is able to compete with the best of the best in the whole wide world.
I know, right?
More than Michael Essien kind of midfielder best.
I
hope he just remains consistent. When he gets there, he just remains consistent, if not better and better.
Consistent.
Charlie, how Kudus. Anyway, let's move on.
Yeah.
No. In fact, so they'll come to the airport and we welcome them and all those things.
I don't know.
They should just drive through the border and.
I thought they should send SPT back to go and bring them.
Charlie, Metro Mass. Charlie. Well, anyway, it's okay. Else we'll stay on this matter forever.
I know, right?
Oh well. Anyway, let's have some hope. Speaking of hope, right? Today's conversation, it's a conversation I had with my previous boss, the best manager in the whole wide world. And we're having a conversation. I was like, I was telling him, see, frankly, I've been out of touch in terms of hands-on on the Ghanaian markets for a minute because of school, and I've been out of the country and all that. So, Charlie, what's the real deal these days if people want to invest? Because people ask me, what's good? And as the year has begun, people are putting their plans together. Today, I went to the gym for the first time in the year. Started doing my push-ups. As we are all working towards the year, we will want to know what should we invest? You understand? And so I had a conversation with him. Dennis put together a nice small survey for people to fill out, and so we are going to talk about the results from some investment professionals, things that people are looking out for in this season, things that are okay. With all that's going on in the Ghanaian markets in the last couple of years, one just doesn't know where is safe, what is lucrative, what to believe in. So it'll be good for us to have this conversation. We'll look at some investment options, and then we'll talk about what people should do as they are exploring these options. What are the questions to ask? What are the expectations, risks, and return of these kind of investments? All right. So without much ado, we'll just get into it. Before we get into the results, I'm curious, Adam, what are you looking? What investment options are you considering for this year?
Yeah, Elikem. I think to this year, honestly, like I mentioned during our goal setting period that and even the Thanksgiving period, that last year was a bad year when it came to like my finances and all of that. So this year I'm hoping to bounce back on my regular investments, basically on mutual funds and equity. Like this year I want to take equities much more seriously than I have taken it in the past. So I think these are the two main areas I'm going to focus on for now. Yeah.
Okay. Mutual funds and equities. The mutual funds, what kind of mutual funds are you looking at? And equities, are you thinking directly or equity mutual funds?
Okay, so with the mutual funds, mainly right now we don't have too much of a choice with what's happening with the debt exchange program. A lot of the fixed income funds have become a bit some way, but I know from even the conversations we've had and all of that, that a lot of them are diversifying their portfolios now. And I've at least for some of the ones I already held, they are sharing with us their fact sheets, and you can see them diversifying geographically also and also other avenues. So I would basically still stick with most of the with the fixed income funds, but probably go a little bit more on. I wasn't too much in the money market side, but I would want to do that for funds that I would need quickly so that I don't have to have the problem I faced the last time when I needed funds and then they were locked up in fixed income funds. So I will focus a lot on those sides. And then with the equities, I was also dealing with a few, I think, EPAC, but it's not something I took seriously. So I would want to use that vehicle also since it's an equity mutual fund. But also try out my personal direct investments, okay, as a way of just trying to improve on researching on companies, looking at their financials, and being able to go through that process and making a decision on what stock to buy or which one to sell. And that is the whole mind behind that.
Okay, I got you. So you are looking at doing some of these investments directly on the equity side and the mutual funds going more money market. And for anyone who is paying attention, it's money market is on the shorter end. So when you are investing in money markets, that means it means you are looking at short-term investments, usually less than 1 year kind of investments. So if it's a mutual fund, you're not directly buying into the investments, but you are buying into a mutual fund, which will then buy into those short-term investments like treasury bills, like money market, like what's it called? Commercial papers, fixed deposits, and the like. So yeah, that's a bit about these money market instruments. Okay, great. Dennis, how about you? On a quick overview level, what about you? What are you looking to invest? Last year you opened your first bank account. This time you should start saving. So what's up?
So I think I also align with Adam on the money market mutual fund side. Investor, I think I would prefer to invest in a mutual fund. I think they offer it's a safer way for me to test the waters, and also it will be a mutual fund as a top choice for me. And the money market one, that's the same as Adams as well.
Okay, great. And I'm so to somebody new in the market testing the waters, you want to start with a mutual fund. A mutual fund would keep it diversified and reduce the risk, and you don't have to do too much thinking on your end in terms of making the right choices. Like Adam was thinking about says he's going to be looking into the stocks directly himself. So that's another consideration. If you don't want to take on that kind of effort, you just leave it to the professionals to do it for you. Okay, great. So, well, for me, because I'm in a different market, I am looking at a high yield savings accounts. There are the normal savings accounts which don't pay so much, like your normal current account. But then the high yield savings accounts, they pay 4, 5, maybe on a good day 6%, especially with interest rates so high. And the reason why I'm choosing those ones are they would give me um, they would give me the flexibility to be liquid. because most of the money I have now is more like to pay current expenses, pay rents and bills as they fall due in the short term, and also um, serve as an emergency fund, a buffer for in case it is. And then even the amounts that are allocated to later, it's all money that will be spent in the next couple of months. So I need to keep it liquid to make sure that I can I can access it whenever I need it to do something. If I go lock it up in equities, they say, "Hey, Apple stocks are doing well." Oh, then I go and buy. Then when I need my money, if it's lost some value or something, then yawapai. No, no, no. So the safety of the high yield savings account is where I'm relaxing for now. But we'll look at it beyond just our individual scenarios. However, I think before we delve further, I think it would be good to issue some disclaimers that these the things that we are saying now are not investment advice. It would be good for each person to think about their individual situation and talk to a financial advisor to know the best option for them. And in fact, in thinking about all these options, it will be pretty general, but it's encouraged that you get a financial advisor to let you, to know, to help guide you to say, hey, maybe this is good, this is not good. Speaking of people to help guide you as you think about some of your financial decisions, there's investment friend. When you get on Instagram, search for at investment_friend. Over there, you have Sarah and Mimi pushing an agenda towards your personal financial independence. It goes a step further than what we do here at Money Convos. At Money Convos, we have conversations about more general things, but when you need tailored conversations or a tailored discussion about solutions that work for you, considering your unique situation, investment friend is there for you. They are your friends and they'll help you achieve all the right goals that you have. Let's get into it. So looking at some of the feedback that we got, right? Some people advocate, and this short survey we did was for professionals in the investment space to get their perspective on what we should invest in. I see Sarah and Mimi popping in here every now and then, so we'll call on them to also share their perspective, right? But some of the themes that really run through are treasury bills. Now, for treasury bills, it's treasury, meaning it's issued by the government of Ghana, and we are talking for a Ghanaian context, right? So it's always there's some sourness in in amount when we think about it. On one hand, they were saved from the debt DDEP was that the debt restructuring program, right? They were saved from that. However, some people would think, well, what if the government changes their mind? So it's something that you should be cautious about. What are treasury bills? Treasury bills are like lending money to the government. It's not like it's actually that. So it's an investment with the government, and then the government promises that every 91 days it runs for a certain period. So at the end of every period, they'll give you your money back, or you get to decide if you want all your money back, whether that's your principal plus your interest, you take it all, or you roll over principal plus the interest, or you roll over just principal and you take your interest. So those are some options that you have every 3 months if it's 91 days. There's also a 182 day, that's 6 months, and there's a 364 day bill, right? Um, so yeah, that's a bit about treasury bills. Previously, we'd have easily said these are the lowest risk type of investments, but then what's the word of the week last week? Due to a certain kind of event. And then what kind of event was that?
Black Swan.
Yeah, so due to a black swan event, the government defaulted. So it makes people wonder if the treasury bill is really something you want to go towards, right? We've already spoken about mutual funds, and some people and some of the reasons why people would go for mutual funds, the stability of their returns, and then helping you to diversify a risk. I think there's some of the investment houses, even the old ones, started new mutual funds with new underlying investments. That way, they have some liquidity. The older mutual funds may take a while to pay you out your money, but the newer mutual funds have more liquidity because they are not invested in those investments that the government has restructured. So there are many options there out there. Talk to your investment house, or better still, get on Instagram and DM at investment_friend. DM them, have a conversation, see what the options are. Just not to let's see, just not necessarily to put in a deliberate plug, but when we were at the CFA event last week, I guess we were exposed to a lot of things from Black Star, and I know Theorem and Investment Friend are doing some things with Black Star, so I think there are some options there. Theorem, please feel free to jump in to give us some more details if you think it's appropriate to do so. So there are some options over there that you would want that people can consider. Let's see. Beyond that, a theme that's resonating among our respondents is fixed deposits. And I guess Adam, do you want to shed some light on what fixed deposits are?
Yeah, Elikem. So
Mhm.
fixed deposits basically are with how would I call it, our commercial banks, or here in Ghana, basically they're all universal banks, right? So where it's like a term deposits where you give to the bank, and most of them also run like the 91 days, some 30 days, depending on the institution, and then for a promised return on your investment. So sort of like the way government has its treasuries, these are how do they call them, investments with our financial institution, basically the banks, actually the banks, where you keep money for a specific term all the way to probably like the 1 year period, or 6 months, or 91 days, or 30 days. I think I've seen some that even have 14 days or so. That's something like that. So at the end of the period, you get credited with your interest. And so it's an option because of the uncertainties that we are having now.
That's interesting. All right. So these are investments with the banks. Anywhere you have your current account or your savings account, you could go talk to them to see if they can do a fixed deposit for you. All right, that's interesting. So speaking of why someone would want to do a bank fixed deposit or not, right? Um, I'm just thinking through some of the structures that govern the way banks are set up. There are a lot of provisioning that they do when there are losses anticipated, and with the DDEP, that was one of the things that came up, and they had to take losses because they lost some of the value of the investments that they had, but they hit it against their own profits. So if you have a fixed deposit there, you wouldn't feel it directly as you would feel with the mutual funds and the other investment houses, those regulated by the SEC. With those, the banks are regulated by the Bank of Ghana. The rules there are more stringent, and people, the way banks do their investments, people would think, oh, the bank doesn't give me a loan to go and do my business. No, the bank does safe investments, low risk investments. That's why they don't help give loans to startup businesses, so that in tough times like these, they have the necessary capital. And I think that there are some regulations, or some regulations that came out from the Bank of Ghana recently about how banks should capitalize their losses, whether they can take the hit all at once, or they can take it over the next couple of years. And there are some, with depending on which option you go with, if you want to take it over the next couple of years, the banks can't declare dividends until they've capitalized all their losses, or they've let all the losses hit their books. So all these are structures that help to protect the banks and reduce the risk. So if you are considering bank fixed deposits, they will provide some return for you with some level of safety in there. So that's something for you to consider. Seram, welcome, and how are you doing?
Very well, thank you. Hi, everyone.
Hello, Seram. Seram, I saw you in somebody's advert. Then I
Hey,
saw somebody was looking like you wearing some dress, some yellow with some, is it flowers or some design. You understand?
read.
Then I was like, maybe it's not Seram. You let me not go and start anything. Then
It's not me. It's
I
not me.
s- oh no. Then
Probably.
I saw some incubator. You and Mimi were doing some events, some incubator something.
Ah, yes, yes, yes.
Then I
That
saw that it
was
was the
the
same
start.
dress.
The
And I
Start
realized,
Money series by by Desmond Bredo Academy. Yeah.
So I realized that okay. Then the person was using you for the advert. They put you on that must have been that same day when you took delivery of that item. But it's okay. I don't say what item
Giddens.
you
Giddens.
Giddens. Oh, okay, Giddens. If you said it yourself,
Yes,
you are
yes,
rocking a
yes,
new
yes,
bag
yes.
with
Yes,
Giddens.
yes,
Okay,
yes,
okay,
yes,
okay,
yes,
okay.
yes.
You know, Sarah is a celebrity, so people, please start booking your appointments on Investment Friend before her appointment gets too full. Oh, I'm telling
Tell
you,
them,
people.
tell
Oh,
them, tell them.
ayo.
Okay, so
Anyway,
I wanted
Sarah,
to
what's
add
your
my
thoughts?
voice to the fixed deposit. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You and Adam did mention that you can actually invest in it, buy a fixed deposit from the banks, and which literally means that you are lending your money directly to the bank, unlike treasury bill where you are giving it to government. So your risk is with the bank, and as you indicated, usually it's low risk. Interestingly, fixed deposit rates are lower than government. Fixed deposit rates with banks in Ghana are lower than treasury bill rates because literally the banks feel they are safer than government. But hey, who am I? I'm not an economist. But I also want to mention that you can also buy fixed deposit from non-banks. So there are the savings and loans, and then there are microfinance institutions. However, as you go to them, you have to just appreciate that that comes with a higher level of risk. Because if the banks could guarantee, the banks are also risky, but less risky. But savings and loans and microfinance, you can also buy fixed deposits from them. Same model, except that you have to know that there is a risk of you losing your money, losing part of it, or even making more. Yeah.
Thank you, Serum, for that. And while we're on this, again, not to necessarily give any free plugs to anyone. We try to avoid mentioning names of particular institutions. But at this point, if people are asking, just need to help people directly, right? So I was having a conversation with someone about these NBFIs, the non-bank financial institutions. That's the savings and loans, microfinance, and an interesting thought. There are certain brands that are foreign owned. Again, I wish we could do everything made in Ghana, of course, but there are some that are foreign owned, and because of the way they finance their businesses, if they default on their Ghana subsidiary, it would look very bad for the group, which may be
Absolutely.
sitting
Yeah.
in South Africa or some East African country. Okay, without naming names. All right. So these are some of the things that you want to think about as you are choosing who you want to invest with, because if these international organizations are getting rated, their credits is getting rated by other international organizations, they won't just sit down for just Ghana to cause the whole show to go down. You understand? So just food for thought as you consider your options.
Yeah. Thank you. Yes, Elikem, that's very important. And also, just understand the business model that the person is running. So, for instance, there are institutions, non-banks here, who are lending to government sector workers. Like that's basically what their business model is on. So in that case, their model is around the expectation that government would not stop paying salaries. Yes, there may be delays, but because their loan books are largely exposed to government, it means that technically immediately they are paid, controller deducts the money automatically. They equally are able to retrieve their loans. Again, there are delays, and this is still risky. But once you understand their business model, it also it helps you make your decision and make that, okay, does this make sense? What's the risk associated with government deciding to not pay salaries again? Right? Will it impact the business? So these are some of the things that you should also consider before buying a fixed deposit from an NBFI.
Very good point, Serum, about the business model. So it's a question people should always ask. And Serum, while we still have you, I know you in some conversations previously, you've expressed some opinions about some mutual funds. Do you want to share any tips about selecting mutual funds?
Yeah. Okay. So as of this is my personal opinion. The way the world is going, right? And the way we are in this digital tech regime and AI, I keep saying that if at this point your sort of investment is not exposed to tech companies or AI, these companies that are dealing with the AIs, then really you are not maximizing the returns on your portfolio. So that said, there are mutual funds that are able to, from here within Ghana, are able to invest globally. So it gives you, and unfortunately, most of these big tech firms or the ones making the money are not in Ghana. They are in the developed markets like the US. So if you have a mutual fund that allows you to buy these investments, I think it's worth considering. But again, it has to fit within your goals. And so if you are thinking of something long term, you should definitely look to mutual funds, exchange traded funds. And now again, from Ghana, you can be exposed to the US market, you can be exposed to developed markets. Elikem, apologies, my background.
Oh, no worries at all. No worries at all. Yeah, you're working hard, both at home and on all fronts. Yeah, great, great, great. So, yeah, thank you for bringing that up, and that walks me into the next theme of things that people were suggesting. Having foreign exposure. If you've been listening to Money Convos in the last 2 years, you know that personally, I prefer to keep things homegrown, but sometimes when it gets to a point, you realize where the market is going. Like Sarah is saying, things, the AI, the tech space, you want some stability in your investment, so you would want to hedge it against the dollar because that has some more stability than our own currency. All these factors may make you think about foreign investments and all the AI things. I'll just encourage people that be careful. These days, anyone just wants to slap the letters AI to whatever they are doing. It's going to be a wild west for a time. So make sure that you are investing with institutions or apps or companies that have the right licensing, um, that have met the right licensing requirements. They have licenses to prove that they are in good standing. They have good reputation, so that you don't just throw your money away. All right. So, any reputable institution, you could ask if they have some of those options. If you have access to buy directly from foreign ETFs, foreign mutual funds, you may want to consider those. It's I wish I wouldn't have to say this, but because 2 years ago by this time I would be strongly against it, but
Elikem, I'm surprised
times are
you are the one saying this.
Charlie. Listen, it's I really wish people wouldn't, man. My- I keep telling my mom I still keep CDs in my bank accounts. You know, it is what it is. You know, it's tough to tell people when they need options that, hey, listen, you have to be patriotic. You have to be patriotic, and I don't want this to go into a political rant, but you know, when people are taking decisions that are not working out well, people may end up taking individual decisions. And even as I'm saying this, I remember a conversation I was having with a friend, Seram. Senam, not Seram, Senam, on related matters. You know, but how we go do am? How we go do am? When times are changing, you have to adjust because you have you have people at home that you need to feed. Anyway, another theme that has come up, which I hope there will really be more of because it can really help push that local agenda that I like to push is corporate bonds. Back in the day, there were some corporate bonds by non-bank financial institutions. I have heard about some private companies that are talking about listing some corporate bonds. And the question is, what are corporate bonds? Corporate bonds are loans, like we were talking about. Treasury bills it's like a loan or an investment to the bank to the government of Ghana. FD is lending your money to commercial banks or universal banks. Corporate bonds are any normal private company, any business. Imagine MTN comes and they say, "So we want we want to issue a bond, and so the public should come and give us money. The public should come and give us a loan." That's an option. Doesn't even have to be a listed company. It could be a private company. Edem and Brothers Cement Company. They will come and issue bond for people to buy. Basically, it's a loan, all right, for a long term, longer than 1 year. And it's usual. Bonds are usually listed. That means if you want to get out ahead of time, you can sell it on the stock market or the Ghana fixed income market. So it's well structured. It's orderly. They pay the interest payments every 6 months or per whatever agreements the prospectus states. And the prospectus is it's like the brochure of the investments. Before you invest, you have to read the brochure, you have to read the prospectus to know what is going to be about, all the features, the terms and conditions. So depending on what they've agreed to do, then they'll be doing it regularly. And at the end of the period, whether it's 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, they'll pay you the full amount back. But you don't have to wait that long. You can always get out of it ahead of time. I've heard about a few that are coming up. I'm not too sure if they are public, so if it's public information, so I just be quiet on the names. I just encourage you go to an investment house and say, hey, are there any options out there? Is this something we can do? And you'd ask, what are the risks and what are the risks to these things? Some businesses, like Sarah was saying, the banks think they are safer than the government. No, the banks in Ghana that are still in existence haven't defaulted, have they? They haven't, but the government has, so they can say so. There are many private institutions that didn't do well when the economy went down. True. But there are also some that actually did well when the economy went down. They are still able to sell their products and services and able to generate cash. Depending on what kind of industry you are in, if you are into things like cocoa, natural minerals, those things pretty consistent. If you are into staple goods like food, things that people always buy, those are what we call defensive industries. So if it's a business that they are still doing well, they are still generating cash, they are still able to pay their employees, they are able to expand and all that, then there's a possibility that when they take a loan from you, they pay that money back. So you want to look into those options. Again, it's private, so they can't raise taxes. If they hit hard times, they can't raise taxes. If they don't do business, they don't get money to pay you back. So there's way more risk with these corporate bonds than investing with banks in fixed deposits and with the government in treasury bills. But at least that's another option that you can consider. And in this day and age, after seeing all these risk things, maybe diversification is something you want to consider, spreading your money around so that if one thing goes down, at least you have some other options to consider. So these are a few of the options that people are talking about. So in summary, mutual funds that you buy into a group investment that is going to invest directly in other investments. It helps diversify instead of you taking all your money and putting all your eggs into one basket. Then there's the treasury bills, short-term investments, less than 1 year, investing with the government. Bank fixed deposits also usually less than 1 year, though some go for longer. But those are with investing with commercial banks, the GCBs, EcoBank, Zenith, wherever you get your current account or your savings account in Ghana. Then there are the corporate bonds. You could go to any investment house and talk to the brokers there if there are options. And then we are also talking about the options for foreign investments. It could be investments in foreign mutual funds, foreign stocks, like those of you with the Apple and things. Sarah keeps saying this. If she had bought Apple stocks while she was buying Apple iPhones, she'd be rich by now, So those are all options that
We'll
you
be
want
richer.
Hey, sorry, rich auntie, sorry, you'll be richer by now. Yeah. Sarah, in fact, while we are on there, are there any particular apps or avenues that you would recommend for people to use that are reputable?
Okay. So, Elika, we have to charge people for time, but
or we
so
should tell
you
them
know,
where to go, investment friends to come
yeah,
and get the details.
exactly. They should come
Okay.
to IF, but again, for information purposes, if you want to buy, invest through a mutual fund, through a Ghanaian, through using CDs, you can check out Blackstar. advisors, they have their enhanced equity beta fund. That fund invests in, I think, tech companies in the US. And I think it did about 68% last year, which was, I think, the best performing fund last year. They also have the CCMF, which now tracks the S&P 500. So you can speak to Blackstar. You can also, there are apps now. You can download the Bamboo app. It also gives you exposure to ETFs and then individual stocks. But again, you need to speak to an advisor. These are what I use. So these are my personal choices. Very soon you'll be able to do that on the Bethnal Finance app. So yeah, these are just my personal platforms that I use to get exposure to the US market.
That's great. Thank you for that. So, guys, you see that Serum has their app. Serum has all their app. So, what are you waiting for? Get on Instagram before you get distracted at investment_friend. All right. They have they have challenges, lots of entertaining content that would keep you engaged and help you drive into directly towards your financial goals. Great. All right. So, yeah, those are some options, and we hope it's been educational for people. And feel free to reach out if you have any questions, especially reaching out through to investment friend where they can answer your questions directly. Again, to repeat this disclaimer, this is not investment advice. You need to speak to a financial advisor who can give you more tailored advice about your personal situation before you make a decision. Okay. All right then. Thank you all for listening. We'll be coming back to you same time next week. That's 6:30 GMT. Next week Wednesday. Until then, please do follow us here on Twitter. We refuse to call it X. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and then wherever you listen to podcasts, just keep listening to it. Just search for Money Convos on YouTube. Also, you find us there. We always publish a few, maybe in a day or two after the session ends. To all those who've been listening, we encourage you keep listening. And yeah, follow us, and also don't forget to follow at investment_friend on Instagram. Yeah, Adam, any final words before we go?
You're welcome. I think basically you've covered everything nicely, but as we're talking about options, I think one of the most important thing is that you should investigate, research, find out more, and know exactly what you are going into so that you are not taken by surprise. And most importantly, make sure that any institution you are going to be dealing with is a regulated one, either by the Bank of Ghana or by the Securities and Exchange Commission, so that you are at least protected and you are sure that you are not dealing with a rogue institution. So thank you. I think that would be it.
Thank you, Adam. What you just said about investigating just reminded me of in the wise words of Medical, make I investigate like CID. Yes, so please, you work too hard for your money. Make sure that you are sending it in the right place and to avoid any scams. Thank you all for listening. Enjoy the rest of your week. Do take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you for taking the time to listen to our thoughts. I hope you learned a thing or two and start practicing. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Clubhouse, and Facebook. And subscribe to our YouTube and podcast. Do tell a friend about Money Convos so we all become wealthy together. Talk to you soon. Bye.